Like, I just don't understand why, if you're not a conservative or you're not like a quote unquote Republican, why would you want to get people to become Republicans?
I mean, isn't that the goal of every sort of ideology? Get more people to agree with you and believe on your
right.
side.
But if you
but I think
don't,
he's saying,
but if you don't
not
attest
one.
to that,
trying.
why would you do that?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. I got you.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird to say that you're not a
what you're saying.
conservative, but then you're like, I want to recruit more people to the Republican Party that don't see themselves as
That's just
conservative.
him trying to dig on Walsh to go, haha, Walsh, you think you're attacking me for something, but I'm actually really trying to help you. Why are you so dumb? And Walsh is just not having it.
So then he goes here and he says, it all makes sense. Matt is literally a violent video games cause real world violence guy. And he goes, haha, this has been debunked a zillion times. He then shares a tweet from another tweet from 2018. No, go back. Keep it going back up. I need to read the tweet. He says, stop pretending violent video games are harmless just because you like playing them. The actual link doesn't work there because I think they moved it to another URL.
It's another URL, yeah.
But you can find it through an archive or the other URL.
I have it.
But I didn't include this, but he's like, oh, he deleted the tweet, yada, 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 but it's clearly available. And can easily be found. So he's lying again because he didn't like delete the article.
See, I don't think he's lying here. I think he's too caught up in it, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I couldn't find it. Ha! They deleted it." And it's like, "Well, no, they just moved it." And,
So he's too hasty to post. So lie by omission then.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah. So like I didn't quote the entire article, but this is what he says, and it's very similar to what he says in the video, which you just went over. He says, we all know it's pretend. We all know the images are digital. We know you are not a serial killer. The fact remains that you still enjoy pretending to kill people. Your favorite recreational activity is to pretend that you're killing people. You probably will never kill a single person in real life, but it's still not good. It's still unhealthy. It's still pretty disturbing that you find so much joy in simulated death and destruction. So I get this. I get the rhetoric here is clearly like looks really bad. But I also understand like kind of like the value where he's coming from on that as well.
See, where the big anger from all this stuff, this particular article comes is way more down, because there's a point where he says, we all know it's pretend. We all know the images are digital. We know you are not a serial killer, but the fact remains that you still enjoy pretending to kill people.
That's what I just read.
Oh, did you? Okay. I didn't know if you got that. I didn't know if you got that top part.
No, that's what I just read that.
I got distracted for a second.
Okay, so like, why do you
one part?
Okay, what do you take issue with in them?
Do better.
I have issue with this blanket.
I think the rhetoric's really bad.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like this blanket rhetoric of going, and all of it is bad. That's what I like. The issue is.
What do you make of it, John?
He died. The coof.
Oh no, he's not listening. All right, Jacob, what are your thoughts on that top paragraph? Can we scroll up a little bit? Scroll up again.
Yeah, no, this is what I've been saying like pretty much all night. Is his whole wholesale condemnation of video games, like in general. Like I said, when you look at these mediums, whether it's video games, anime, movies, television, there's so many subgenres and subsets of these things. It's like you can argue that some of the things are bad, but you have to be specific in when you say it. Right. When you just say that one medium in general is bad because insert this reason here, and then that's why people get super defensive about it, because you're saying things that are bad or inherently evil, which is clearly not. It's a very easy argument to debunk if you don't be specific enough in what you're arguing against.
Yeah, I think the generalization is absolutely terrible on Walsh's part. He should know better about it. And I think he should kind of better hone his arguments on this topic, because I do think he makes I do think he has some very solid points. He just needs to articulate them a little bit better.
It's like the people who are like saying that, if you like anime, you're a pedophile because lollies are anime. It's like, no, there's a mountain of anime out there that has absolutely nothing to do with lollies whatsoever. Right. So if you're using that as your argument, you just sound like a complete idiot. And
it's also hard to articulate this kind of thing. Because you do get that visceral reaction of the people who are addicted going, no, you want to take my video games, like we've said a few times on this. Right. So it's like, but you can't even calm down people to even get to the point where it's like, let's have a talk about this. because people would just get agitated right away.
Like I said, there was the argument
100%.
we were having like last week when we were talking about the shooter game. I was like, yeah, no, I don't know if I want my my shooters to have this kind of realism in its graphics, because now you were blurring the line that didn't used to be there before, and people were just looking at it. It's like, you're trying to take video games away from me. It's like, do you even listen to my argument, or are you just picturing me like grabbing a video game out of your hand and chucking it out the window? Like, I feel like we're having two conversations.
Gestapo style, kick down their doors, take their Wii's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got a couple people in the comments that don't understand that you're criticizing lollies, right? That you were criticizing the lolly stuff.
Yeah,
we're this thing we're literally talking about is like happening in real time.
Saw the name and then got triggered. Yeah,
exactly. Let me put it this way: I have no defense of people who are into lolly. Yeah, there are some very sus people out there, and I'm not going to get into the fight. Oh, it's just drawings. Like, look, that I'm going to let you guys have that one because you guys are weird. I'm not even going to get involved in that part of the debate. But I'm just talking about its anime in a general. So
right, yeah. Okay, let's keep going. So he talks about here, he says that's one of the major effects that violent video games and movies certainly do have on a person. They feed the twisted part of his brain. So he's talking about his friend who was like really enjoying the Hostel movie and was like, guy gets cheering the people getting murdered. They feed the twisted part of his brain that delights in ugliness. We all have that in us to some extent in one form or another. That's true. We are fallen nature. But we should not indulge the instinct. We should not embrace it and fuel it. We bring ourselves into dark places when we do. Even if the dark place does not involve shooting up a school, it's still a dark place. And it is better to be in the light. And I think that's kind of what you were talking about, John, with your kids and having kind of the going to the dark place, having those attitude changes when they're playing these games. I remember my parents even telling me that when I was playing my video games, that I was like kind of like turning into a different person. And looking back, I can kind of see that too. Obviously now I'm like much more grounded, realize what I'm doing, and can have self-control and